What's up, everybody? I'm Big Lovin. This is DellaSnooch. Welcome to the Escape Pod, episode 20. I almost went for it.
Hey everybody, we're going to get into Disney Gallery's The Mandalorian tonight. We're pretty excited about this show.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good one, hopefully. Or let's turn the shit real quick.
Right.
One or the other.
Hopefully all the technology is working this time. I spent a bunch of extra time, and Jess Bolt went ahead and helped me again because he seems to be my guy on the other end of my tech questions.
Whoa! Oh, yeah. No, he's a tech guy.
Yeah,
I am not a tech guy.
Tech is in his wheelhouse, and you always seem to be busier than shit when you leave.
Busier than shit, and I like to go to bed like an old man.
Yeah, I ain't got time for that. I got shit to do.
I have 5 kids, and then I'm just like, it's time to go to bed.
Yeah, at like 6.
By the time we're done with the show and I get home, whoa.
Yeah.
It's bedtime.
It's enough?
It's bedtime.
It's enough? All
Yeah.
right. All right. Well, there you have it. We'll also be registering Brady for the early bird special next Monday.
Soon I'll be an AARP.
Unfortunately, sooner than you'd like.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Getting old blows.
It sucks.
All right, guys, you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and all your favorite podcasting apps like iTunes, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play.
Woo!
Woo! Check us out and our sister pods on the Podbelly Network. If you want to help us grow the show, please consider becoming an Escape Pod crew member on Patreon.com. With 3 budget-friendly tiers, you can help us fund the hosting costs of the Escape Pod, help pay for future equipment upgrades, and help us with expenses so that we can bring con experiences back to you. Find us at Patreon.com and search for the ATSW, the Escape Pod, in the search creator bar.
As well as entering yourself into a drawing.
Absolutely.
Quarterly drawing where we're going to have a fun little, what did we decide on it? Swag bag? Something like that?
I called it the Escape Crate earlier.
The Escape Crate. I like it. That's what we're going with. The Escape Crate. And hopefully we talked to somebody today, and hopefully we might have a little bit of a small sponsor when it comes to our Escape Crate.
Yep.
So more to come on that. If not, we're just still going to fill it all with kind of goodies. We got a few things already in the set for this one. Definitely show everybody what we got. Hopefully that gets people a lot more interested, and we can get more people want to join.
You know, since it is next week, we could show the one thing.
Oh, we got this thing.
And you know what? Let me pimp the cups too, real quick.
Pimp the cup. But this is part of the grab, the Escape Crate. The child, Funko Pop child, that'll be in it. So whoever wins, get yourself a nice Funko child. And then
we're gonna have this sweet mug in there too. If you're into mugs,
if you're into drinking coffee or liquids.
Yeah, you know what? I think that it's really hard to see on the screen there
because of all the bright lights.
Yeah, we'll definitely take pictures of everything that's in the crate.
For sure. And then we're going to do a live drawing, of course, so that way nobody feels cheated.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do a number randomizer, I think.
We're going to assign everybody numbers based on how many tickets or entries that they've earned, and then we'll use an internet randomizer to pick a number.
Yep.
And whoever name corresponds with that,
there it is.
Boom. You'll get some sweet
There's going to be a
swag.
lot of stuff. We got those things. We got stickers. We got some other things that we won't want to talk about until they're ready. And I think, personally, with some of the things I already know that we put in and just showing, I want to be in the drawing. We can't be in the drawing.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not going to want to send this out.
No, not at all.
A bunch of shit in it that we would want to have ourselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Luna Girl says she loves coffee and liquids.
You know, I think that there'll be at least 2 things in there for liquids.
For sure. Well, I'll say one of them's a cup, but I'm not going to say what the cup is.
Right,
My wife is making an awesome cup. So awesome that we had an accident with the first cup, and she's still going to go through and make the second cup, and neither Don nor I want any of you to have it. We're so selfish.
Right.
So
absolutely.
Get into some shout outs. First and foremost, the mothership, that is the All Things Star Wars podcast. Soon to be rebranding, but they're rebranding and not fucking Star Wars. they're not leaving.
Right. They are going to be on a new RSS feed.
They're going to be on a new RSS feed. They're going to have a new main show, but they're still going to travel back when the time permits and when it's necessary to cover.
This is kind of what I'd like to talk them into doing, and I don't know if they give a flying fuck what I think.
Who cares? Let them know.
It's
your show.
I think that they should keep the Star Wars feed, and then every once in a while, when something super Star Wars is coming out, boom,
right there.
All things Star Wars show.
Yep, I'm with it.
But, you know.
So, Jason and Dave, if you're listening, that's what you're going to do. If you don't like it, tough shit.
Because it's a summer of fuck off.
Summer of fuck Brady and Don. Assholes.
So, we got Patreon shout-outs.
Whoa!
We have Patreon people.
No, we have more shout-outs to go. I just stopped with all things Star Wars.
I didn't mean to step on your Star Wars dick.
It happens. It happens. It's a pretty big lightsaber. It's double-bladed.
You're an emo with a glow stick.
All right. Don't forget Used and Views with Kim and Scott. It's a music podcast. You can find their podcast wherever you can find our podcast. Wherever you can find podcasts, you'll find them, you'll find us, and we'll be there, and it'll be fun. Don't forget our man Keith for layman's terms on YouTube and or in his personal Facebook page or in the Sidebar Cantina. He's all over.
He must work Wednesday nights because we don't ever see him in there. But he watches the show. I always get feedback about it.
Yeah, but it's all good in the hood. Yeah, we make time. You gotta make time. And then don't forget Big Swede's Excellent Adventure or Tactical Swede or something Swede or Sweet 42.
42.
We're on Sweet 42 and all things Swede and sexy Swede, and you know it. And then don't forget our guys, the Brew Guys on YouTube, our beer aficionados, our beer snobs. If you're into beer, you like beer, they like beer, drink with them. Let's learn about beer. That's what you're going to do.
Absolutely. Okay, so
now
we're going to get into the Patreon shout-outs. And at the very top tier we've had for the past 3 months, Scott and Kim Rasmussen. They're going to get free shirts.
Yes.
With our logos on it because our logos are dope.
Super sweet. We got like 3 of them.
Yeah.
So and we let them choose the logos. So
they
choose the logos. So we're gonna put them on the shirt. So if you're a top tier, that's something to look for. You can do it for 3 consecutive months.
3 consecutive months, and then we decided that we're gonna do another one after a year.
A yearly one. So you potentially got
2 shirts a year.
And then you got how many drawings for top tier? Throw you in the
4.
4.
Oh, you mean how many do you get per? I believe it's 10 per month.
So you got 30
shots to the drawing, and then if you're cool about sharing the thing, you could potentially have 34 a month.
Which they don't need to. They've got enough. They got their own stuff going on. Oh, and I just want to say congratulations to Kim and Scott, because I know they had a grandchild recently.
And it's pretty much sucking up all of their available intellectual resources.
As it should.
So
congratulations to Kim and Scott.
They're super happy about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We've got Jen and Jess Bolt.
Yes.
Big Swede, Tactical Swede.
Thanks, buddy. We appreciate it.
Lunar Girl and Dragon Buddy. Not Draffin.
Not Draffin. You really need to fix that.
I really do need to fix that.
Hey, man. Let's get into it, buddy.
Woo! So we've been really looking forward to talking about some of the stuff that's in the news this week. There is so much fucking going on.
It's actually pretty heavy.
Which is real interesting because at the beginning of the week, I was like, fuck, nothing is happening.
Yep.
Corona has sucked all the air out, and then it just started, like, belching out of shit.
All of a sudden.
So,
got some good stuff.
Movie news. Batgirl gets a new star. This is the first thing I found.
Yep.
And I was fucking blown away at how much I like this.
Yeah.
Javasia, I believe, is how you say the girl's name. Leslie? Javasia?
Nice.
Or Javasia, depending on, I don't know. I haven't heard her pronounce her own name. She will be the first black female LGBTQ friendly member of any DC property.
Nice.
And she'll be helming the new Batgirl show, which is fucking dope.
Well, she wasn't the only part of the LGBTQ.
No.
Ruby Rose was. But
the previous star of this show was
absolutely.
But she is the first African American.
That's right. Okay, I didn't know if you knew that. I just throwing that out there. I didn't know if you knew that.
Right. Like if there was a way to check all the fucking boxes and just be like, no, I am all the things, and you're gonna like it.
Can I stop filling out the paperwork?
Anyway, I'm super fucking stoked about that.
Yeah, it's gonna be sweet.
I watched this week The Old Guard on Netflix,
and I'm about 20 minutes in.
Right. This is one of the few movies I've watched in a long time that I thought was telling a story from a really original point of view. That's kind of superhero related. You know, these people are, and I mean, it's no secret. It's right off Jump Street. They tell you they're immortal. Yeah, you learn that I've learned that within the first 20 minutes of the film. I think it actually comes out in the first line of dialogue. That's why I had to stop watching. Like right after they were, the big shock and awe thing in the beginning. Yeah. So this movie, like, all the way through is fantastic. I mean, beat for beat, it's fantastic, and it essentially sets up a 3 story arc that they may or may not make. This was originally a comic book written by this dude. I can't think of what his name was, but he's written a bunch of stuff so far that's been made. And if I was a better steward of my notes, I would have wrote that stuff down.
Yes. But if you were a better steward of our notes, I could even talk about it.
Right.
I can't even talk about it.
But we will be watching his career with great interest. Anyway.
So, yeah, we wanted to bring that up because I'm 20 minutes in. He's finished it. At some point, it may not be a dedicated full episode.
Yep. We will talk about it.
But we will talk about this movie.
It's got Charlize Theron in it, too.
So,
and
for the
she
dude,
is fucking amazing.
For the dude, yes. And then for the ladies, ladies too. Yes.
Ladies, if you don't want to be Charlize Theron, you're not thinking about things right.
It happens. But what if they don't?
Well, then they want to be Javicia Leslie.
That happens.
I mean, they should.
Well, fair enough. I apologize for even stating such things.
In other news, Tom Holland gets ripped on the set of Uncharted. Been working out with Mark Wahlberg.
Well, that'll happen. I used to work out with Mark
Fucking
Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg is a beast.
Yeah.
Except he picks bad movies.
Some of them.
Oh, look, we got a Transformer.
Well, that's your world, buddy.
Stop it. Don't make Transformers movies anymore. I love Transformers. I want them to stop fucking them up.
They didn't. The Bumblebee, though.
The Bumblebee was fantastic. AMC Theaters has renegotiated their debt so they can survive the COVID crisis.
Good, because I hope they don't sell the one in town.
They did already. It already happened.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Sony is delaying the Monster Hunter until 2021, which is based off the video game.
Thanks.
I don't anticipate it being very good. Sony's making it, and also it's about a video game.
And they don't do that.
Most people don't do video games anything very well.
Yeah, that's true.
This happened today, and I did the fucking happy dance. HBO announces today.
Doing the happy dance. Doing the happy dance. Doing the happy dance.
Anyway, HBO announces today that they are making a Batman TV series. That series is going to be the connective tissue between all of the new movies surrounding the Batman Robert Pattinson universe. So essentially, what I'm gathering is we're going to get the show that we wanted Shield, Agents of Shield to be.
Right.
You know, everybody always wanted all the way throughout that show. This should be connecting the movies, and people should be appearing.
And it didn't.
It looks like through HBO, that's what the fuck they're gonna do.
Well, that's what needs.
Absolutely. Anyway, it also came to my attention today, and I don't know why I didn't know this, but HBO is in the middle of making a Green Lantern TV series.
I kind of heard about it.
Have you?
A little bit.
Yeah,
I didn't know it was HBO.
I had no idea, and but I did also know that DC is working on the script for a Green Lantern Corps movie.
Yes, I have heard that
So
too.
that's the thing I knew was happening, but I had no idea that this TV series thing was fucking happening. As far as video games, did you have any other movie stuff you wanted to pick around? It's not in the hot sheet.
No. Because I have a hot sheet. It's not a hot sheet. Maybe I'll remember when we get there.
That sounds like maybe you should wash the sheet.
But they're hot.
Well, they will
Nice and warm.
until they cool down, and
Nice
then they're
and warm
just gross.
Oh, that's true.
Video game news this week is pretty slim. There's not a whole lot to eat here. Ubisoft, sometimes, and then sometimes I'm aroused and I'm not.
That happens with video games.
But if you get to be 40 years old, once you're not soft, you will quickly be soft again.
Fuck, man. I need another beer. You keep talking about the fucking softness.
Ubisoft Skull and Crossbones is kind of getting pulled back. I guess this is very much a spiritual successor to Black Flag, but it's a piratey game. But it's getting pulled back because they're going to turn it into a live service game.
Meaning,
basically a MMO RPG kind of a thing. You know, multiple people being pirates on the same seven seas. Woo! I don't know the logistics beyond that, but that's what they're saying right now. Ubisoft just had their conference the other day, which is why this is coming out.
Okay.
Far Cry 6 has been announced, and it centers around a revolution on an island very similar to Cuba. Which is fucking interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
Now, I've never played any of those Far Cry games, but Michael thinks they're fantastic.
I tried to kick my ass, I'm not good at them, and then I laughed my ass off because in one of the Far Cry games, if you literally sit there and do nothing for so long,
yeah,
you just wait for the guy to come back.
Oh,
somebody in the chat might know that or not. I don't know.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Xbox conference is still coming this week. Actually, not this week. Next week, at the end of next week. We still have no prices for the Xbox and the PlayStation.
I heard a rumor.
I've heard lots of rumors.
A very recent rumor that it's $500 on the PlayStation.
Right. I've heard that.
And then there's a PlayStation that's going to be where you purchase all your content online, which is going to be a different price point for the other.
I'm hearing $500 for this console and $399 for the disc.
That's roughly what I've heard. Yeah.
Okay.
$50 to $100 difference. Thank you, Morty. Far Cry 4.
Who's Maury?
I know who that is.
Oh, good.
He's a friend of mine.
Oh, J.J. Abrams donates.
He's a good guy.
This is a hot sheet. Was he?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Well, you know what? Who needs a good supervisor? Me.
Yeah, well, he's not. He loves the last.
Fucking last week, I walk into work and then I'm talking to my boss and everything's fucking fine. And then he disappears for a meeting for 20 minutes and he comes downstairs and they're like, yeah, they fired me.
Yep. That was shit.
They did it to a bunch of bosses, but mine was the boss that we didn't want fired. Brady's boss has been there for like 8 minutes. So, yeah, why the fuck did they get rid of my good boss? Yeah, he was a good fucking dude. Maybe now that he's not my boss, he'll watch the show.
Probably. Can you blame him? Our show sucks.
Well, that and he's got little kids, so.
Yeah, you can't listen to our show.
Yeah, it's little peepers all the time.
Yeah.
Hot sheets this time. J.J. Abrams donates $10 million to support Black Lives Matter, which is kind of cool. You know, if you got $10 million, yeah. I'm sure that'll make a bunch of people butthurt enough they'll never go see another J.J. Abrams movie or fucking some shit. Who cares? Charlize Theron confirms Atomic Blonde 2 coming to Netflix. Did you ever see Atomic Blonde?
She was in Atomic Blonde?
She was the Atomic Blonde.
Okay. Don't need that attitude out of you. Jesus.
Everybody tell him. She was the atomic one.
Okay, whatever. I want to lead a battle angel too. That's what I'm
in the worst fucking way.
I really want to see a sequel to that movie.
Yeah.
So sorry to shit on your Atomic Blonde too, but Alita Battle Angel is what I'm with.
We have in the future episodes Alita Battle Angel. That is a coming episode.
That was a good one.
And I'm thinking probably somewhere around 23 is where that's going to live.
You should move it.
I want to parse that motherfucker soon.
I might have to bring my son up for that.
Oh, that'll be good. Michael loves it too. I mean, that might be our first four-way.
With our kids?
kids?
That's fucking weird.
Bro.
You're gross.
I said it, but you thought it.
What are you saying? That is disgusting. I can't do this show no more.
I quit.
I gotta watch one.
There will be no episode 23. We're done. Sit, Nancy. Starting July 22nd through the 26th, Comic-Con International, otherwise known as the San Diego Comic-Con, will be posting live panels.
Oh, and if you're sitting there listening to us fuck up and you're like, they shouldn't be drinking while I do the show, do your own fucking show.
Yeah.
Don't drink.
Part of the whole reason why we wanted to do a show is so we'd have a reason to get together on a Wednesday and have drinks.
Yeah. So, fuck you.
So there it is. Anyway.
That's from the heart.
San Diego Comic-Con will be posting live panels for their Comic-Con, for their at-home campaign. You'll be able to watch the normal events of San Diego Comic-Con from the comfort of your own couch. Go to YouTube and find the Comic-Con page and hit the subscribe, and you'll get to check out all the cool shit they're going to do this year without anybody being close enough to stink and spread conquest.
You know what's funny? This is how I do San Diego Comic-Con
anyway. Yeah.
Every year, this is how I do it. Because didn't you and Brian try to get
Me and Brian tried to go.
And it was like a raffle shit or some shit like
that. We
that.
set up our trip. We booked all our hotels. We rented the car. Blah, blah, blah. We got signed in. We sat in the lobby for an hour waiting to get picked to buy tickets. And neither of us fucking got picked. We were like the fucking scene in, what's that show with the nerds on the TV? Big Bang Theory. That episode where they're
I was right there,
sitting there refreshing their computer.
That was you guys.
That was us for a fucking hour and a half.
I remember you guys were like, "This is stupid."
Yep, and then we didn't get to buy tickets, and our wives took us across the street and got us drunk, and that was it.
Nice.
Yes, but it was also like 10:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
We were bitter.
Yeah.
Had to cancel our whole trip. We were gonna spend fucking 2 days in Vegas. It was gonna be a whole deal. It was gonna be a good time.
I remember you talking about that.
But it didn't happen.
Yep. Because that's what that shit is. So that's why I watched San Diego Comic-Con already.
Right. This is as political as the show's ever gonna get. Disney World opens back up in the middle of Florida's pandemic spike. So we're interested to see what kind of horror movie comes out of this pile of shit. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking. Like, Disney World is no longer going to be the happiest place on earth. It's going to be where you get COVID and get sick.
Yep, for a little bit there.
For a little bit.
Next in the movie news, we had, for those not in the know, Star Wars is releasing a new cartoon series called The Bad Batch. The series follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way into a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone War. Members of Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the Clone Army, each possess a singular exceptional skill, which makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew. In the post-Clone War era, they will be taking daring mercenary missions as they struggle to stay afloat and find new purpose. I'm in.
Yeah, absolutely. I fucking love those
I am
characters.
so in. I enjoyed the characters. I think Dave and Jason said it both when they were talking. Well, one of them said it where they kind of got like they were waiting for the series to pick up.
Yeah.
They wanted to get to where they wanted to get to. And I was with that, but I still enjoyed the Bad Batch. And the fact that this is taking place after the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I'm like hype. I want to see what's going on through that time.
Right. The thing about the Bad Batch was, like David Jason said, we were waiting for all the things that we had heard was
Yeah, you're
coming.
waiting for the other shoe to drop.
But I think if you go back and you watch those 2 or 3 episodes, they have plenty of merit on their own.
Yeah, you just got. I think you got to separate them. I think they need to be separated from being in that last season.
Yeah, because we were busy thinking about where the fuck's Ahsoka. It was pretty much
what everybody was like. Where's Ahsoka? When's Ahsoka coming?
Right.
Yeah. So
if they had not teased us with Ahsoka in the preview, I think that the beginning half of that season would have been received totally different. There's actually quite a bit of good shit in there.
Oh, absolutely! I love it. I love their the whole aesthetic they had, man. The uniforms, some of the different helmets. I don't really care for the big bruiser dude. I don't know his name.
I thought he was funny sometimes.
Sometimes he's funny, so I'd like to see how that's going to travel through an entire season.
Yeah.
We're just focused on this group of guys. But
I like the super nerdy tech dude.
Yeah, tech is awesome.
But the guy that I don't like is the leader guy.
Rambo?
Yeah.
He just seems cut his hair.
But, you know, he might grow on me too.
Yeah, well,
I don't always like everything.
They're going to, we'll see. But I'm excited for it. Another series. Throw that along with my my Mandalorian season 2. I'm in there like swimwear.
But you know, the flaw in that season of that show would be like if when they were advertising the Mandalorian, they showed us Baby Yoda up top, but then didn't give us Baby Yoda until episode 6.
Yeah,
everybody would have been like, "What the fuck? It's the Baby Yoda thing."
Baby Yoda? Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead, they should have buried the lead and gave us Ahsoka later.
Yeah.
Even if they just started running commercials for it, like couple weeks before we were going to get Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough fucking bitching at Disney.
More somber note.
Yeah, this is kind of sad. Go for it, dude.
On Monday, we lost Grant Amahara of Mythbusters fame and the Project White Rabbit. He passed away suddenly at the age of 49. And that's just tough. I enjoyed the crap out of Mythbusters. I never watched the White Rabbit Project. I think that's a Netflix thing.
Yeah.
I believe so.
But he was also a set effects guy for Star Wars. Yeah,
he was one of the main guys for R2D2.
He worked at ILM. Like, he's responsible for things that you love. Like, it's a super fucking bummer that he checked out early.
Yeah, that is. I haven't seen why. I mean,
they
not
don't
to
know
say
yet.
that's important. Not to say it's important, and I don't mean anything by that, but I did look into it.
The only thing I saw implied that it was had nothing to do with anything he had put in his body. It wasn't COVID. So, yeah, it just might have been whatever strange event that. Bye, guy. We loved you.
I'm gonna let you get into sports, man.
All right.
I'm gonna let you do that because these are your notes.
Your buddy says aneurysm, which makes sense. It's that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You just have a headache and then you're done. What'd Jen say? I've seen people say they feel safer at Disney than they do at the store because they're so strict with their rules. I have a friend that bartends down there. Well, that's
Disney,
fucking awesome.
Disney doesn't fucking with anything.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Line, they'll cut you.
Yeah, but can you imagine like fucking like 100-degree heat in a mask with a backpack on and a toddler bitching?
That's why I'm just not going.
No, I'm not doing it.
That's just why I'm not going.
Lunar Girl heard aneurysm as well, so that must be what we're talking about.
Yeah, I didn't follow up much more than when I looked the day of.
Yeah,
so
that's what killed my grandpa. He was just sitting there having breakfast, got a headache, and then when he was finished his lunch that afternoon, he was down at the table. It just does you like that.
Yeah.
Big Ten announces that they will be playing conference-only games this fall. And then I'll follow up with the rest of the Michigan stuff. And then
go ahead.
You can pick the other thing.
Yeah.
And then this came out today. Michigan football plans for there to be no football season tickets. U of M. Wait a minute. Oh, there will be no fans at Michigan Stadium unless their individual game sales being sold mostly to season ticket holders and students.
Yeah.
So there'll be no tickets to the general public. Oh, Lunar Girl says that the Rose Bowl is already canceled. Yeah, well, I guess if you're only going to have in-conference play, then the Rose Bowl would have to be joined.
Right.
And I would imagine that would also apply to all the bowl games, unless they fucking somehow come up with a
They probably
vaccine by then.
Oh, well, oh, no. I thought you were going to say something completely different.
Because they're, I mean, going by this, they're not going to mix the conference.
No, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I've heard from.
And I also have heard on multiple accounts that they're only going to be scheduling teams that they can drive to on the day before the game or the day of the game. So you won't see stuff like Michigan playing Iowa or Nebraska. Or you're not going to see them go down to Maryland or Rutgers.
That's going to be interesting.
Well, what really fucking sucks about that is if you're Maryland or Rutgers, that means that you have to play Maryland or Rutgers 5 times.
Enjoy that. Enjoy that.
Well, actually, they could probably play Penn State and maybe OSU.
Oh, and for those of you who are wondering why we're talking about Big Ten and Michigan, because
that's our jam.
Yeah,
my jam.
We're here in Michigan. I root for Michigan.
Yeah, I know, but like it's my jam.
It is your super jam. Like, yeah, lots of it. And so we're in Michigan. We're in Big Ten country, and we're Michigan fans. So that's what's. It's in the logo.
Details regarding potential individual game sales. Once a decision is made on whether or not they're playing with the fans or not, is going to come out. And part of the reason why I'm talking about all this is if Michigan's doing it, just like with the fucking training camps and all that, if Michigan's doing it, you can bet this will spread across the country like wildfire. They'll be like, yeah, Michigan as usual, doing it right again. You can shut up there, Michigan State fans. I don't want to hear it. We're still the best. In the event that Michigan's able to have fans, all the tickets will be mobile. They won't be doing any paper tickets. They won't be doing any like print off the thing
and go.
It'll all be like hold up your phone and they'll go boom.
Scan it.
That's it. Yep. So, as with everything else, this is just another thing that's going to push us from dealing with paper and printouts and this and that to be going to all digital. Like your phone is going to be your fucking Bible.
Yeah.
Real soon. Yeah. I have a special note from one of the members of the escape pod that it's time to hit the evac pad. He's got to go ahead and take a leak.
But when I get back, we're going to get into the Mandalorian gallery.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that. But I, for some reason, have the bladder of a toddler when we're fucking doing the show.
I guess I'll talk about Washington while you're gone.
Yes, do that.
Yeah, see? Yeah, see? We're going to talk about the Washington, see? You wee little bitch. Anyway, he left the room, so I can call him a bitch. I'm going to get an angry text when he listens to the live, or this on iTunes. He'll be like, you called me a bitch, you fucking asshole. And I'll be like, well, yeah, I did. Anyway, Washington Redskins are going to go ahead and drop their logo. They announced it the other day, which is cool. There's been a big scuttlebutt about whether or not they should be using that logo for quite some time now. In fact, it was one of the first, things that they were like, well, maybe you should stop fucking doing that. I don't personally care either way. I generally err on the side of not offending people, which is odd since I say terrible fucking things to people all the time. But it's usually just because I love them and I like to hurt their feelings and hug them later. So you can figure out the psychology of that on your fucking own. But they're also going to go ahead and change the name of the team. And we're supposed to hear early this coming week what they're going to do with that. So I don't know if they're going to call themselves the Washington Fur Burgers or...
What the fuck? I got a new team.
This is my favorite team. Look at them.
Oh my god.
Look at them. Not a piece of carpet safe.
Not a single piece. Holy shit.
But, whatever it is that they pick, let's just hope that they don't do something fucked up and call themselves like the...
You should stop.
All right, I'm gonna stop.
You're already on track with the fur burgers. I think that's enough from you. I don't think I should be going to the bathroom. From now on, you need to sit outside of the door.
They're gonna get sponsored by Wendy's and call themselves the Ginger Baconators or something. It's not gonna be good.
The Ginger Baconators? Is that what you?
Yeah, because you know Wendy's a ginger.
Oh my God!
That's what I had.
You're ridiculous.
So I won't even have to edit that out. I managed to talk about the fur burgers all the way through.
The whole Washington fur burgers. It doesn't matter what they call their name. Between me, you, and Luna Girl, from now on, they're the Washington fur burgers. I'm getting hats made.
Oh, I think it's a great idea.
Oh my lord.
Oh man.
Fantastic.
All right, let's get into fucking Disney Gallery.
Let's get into this. This was fantastic. I enjoyed the shit out of this.
It was one of my favorite documentaries that I think I ever watched.
Yeah. I enjoy it. It was put together well. The chat.
Well, it was put together absurdly well.
Yeah, it was real good.
Like, I've never seen this level of production. Granted, it's Disney money, and they'll do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I've never seen somebody go, let's make a show
about
a show.
Yeah, yep.
And we'll put damn near as much money as we put into the fucking show.
That's probably what they did too.
I have to assume that because they knew that they had something interesting, they documented every fucking moment of it so well.
But I think that's the way of things now, just in case.
Right. Like, hey, we're doing a production, and we need to hire a guy to film the production of the production.
Yeah, they had a whole production team.
Right.
They're like, hey, you're doing the behind-the-scenes shit.
Right. That was working on making this while they were making the other show,
yep.
which is insane to me.
Yep.
Which is probably why it's so well polished, because not only did they have the whole time they were working on the show, but they also had the whole time the show ran. And then, like, another, 2 or 3 months before this came out.
Yeah. Yeah, they put it together well. I enjoyed it.
I really don't think I've ever seen a documentary that's done and polished this well.
Well, I know before we even decided to do this as a showpiece, me and you were talking about, like, I want to see them do this on the event.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
I would love them to do this for all 4 Avengers movies, and if in each one of those they broke it down into 2 or 3 episodes about the little pieces around it.
Yep. That would be
you could do like the Iron Man and then the Captain America.
I do say I hope this is something to come with Star Wars specifically. Right. Like I'm aiming to that because that's one of the first things. Because I know they've done one with Frozen. Yeah. They got another one out with Frozen. I told my wife about it. I know she's watched it. I haven't watched it yet, but I enjoyed the shit out of Frozen. But I got kids.
I imagine you get through 5 minutes of that show, and then when you get all uptight about it, you have to let it go and change the channel. Don't get mad about that joke, buddy. Let it go.
I can't let it go.
Son of a bitch. It's the summer of fuck you, asshole. Oh, goodness.
Goodness gracious.
Anyway, we were super happy with watching this, and we figured that we'd spend some time talking about it with you guys.
Yeah, and if you're in the chat and you got anything you want us, hey, bring it up. We'll try to talk about it the best we can. Yeah. Boom.
Oh, nothing's happening.
What'd you do?
Nope.
Oh, I told you the arrows work.
Technology!
Woohoo!
All right, episode 1.
And I didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Bro.
Dude.
Bro. Don't bro me, dude.
I do, bro.
All right, fine. I'm going to believe in you that you're just going to be able to ad-lib this shit because... All right.
Hey, let's watch and find out.
Everybody, what's happening now is happening now.
Right now.
What happened just a minute ago is gone.
Nope, totally gone.
But when will then be now?
Now.
Okay.
Right now.
I don't have Mr. Coffee. I'm watching Radar, bitch.
And you know I need my Mr. Coffee on.
In the first episode, directing, filmmakers Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, Deborah Chow, Bryce Dallas Howard, Rick Famuyiwa. Famuyiwa? Yeah. Okay.
You got this one?
Sam Makin.
Shut up and read your notes.
And Taika Waititi speak about their individual journeys on the way to the director's chair and take us inside the filmmaking process of The Mandalorian.
I love how they have these,
Roundtable?
5, 6 directors.
Uh-huh.
Each have their own way of doing things.
Yep.
But it still felt cohesively like a show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm doing this person's doing this person's doing this, but they all flowed together.
Right.
They all had their individual, and I enjoyed the show.
As you hear them talk over the show, and then even in some of the subsequent shows, you hear how they were supportive of each other while they were working on their movie.
Yeah, and then some
or their episode.
Yeah, and some of them you learn that were actually shooting second shit for the other person while they were doing the main stuff.
Yeah, which is unheard of, because not only do directors tend to have a little bit of a ego problem, they very rarely can appreciate somebody else's vision enough.
It didn't seem like a single one of these had ego. Not a single person who directed the first season had an ego problem.
All they when they were all sitting around on the round table, all they ever talked about was how cool what somebody else did.
Yep.
Which really reminds me of directors like J.J. Abrams and Kevin Smith. They spend all of their time downplaying shit that they do themselves and appreciating what everybody else is doing.
Yep, I would agree with
and
that.
You never hear them ever shit on something else somebody did. If they didn't like something, they just don't fucking talk about it.
Like you said.
Right, it's about class. And very few directors have that because their egos are fucking through the moon.
They're making my movie.
Hey, man,
you guys like what I'm doing?
You don't like my movie, you should suck a dick. No, we want the Snyder cut. Stop being a cunt.
Right.
Oh, I said the C word. On the YouTube. I think so.
Okay.
I do like that word. I apologize if you don't like it, but I like it.
It's a moist word.
Dude! I almost spit Berry Wise all over the fucking wall.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that was amazing.
It felt like the time to say it.
Moist.
Sorry. So now you don't like a couple words? We've already said them.
Foster's, Australian for moist.
Oh my god.
You know what? We're only entertaining ourselves, folks.
That's fine.
I'm
okay with it.
The directors really shared a bunch of personal stories in this episode. Like, you really kind of got the feel of how some of them became the people that they are.
Yeah, you really found out that their nerdom is, they all had that same,
right.
They almost had that same line of, I was playing with my action.
Yep.
I was playing with my toy.
Yep.
That made you feel like, I did the same thing too. I just,
Every one of them had a legitimate reverence for George and what he did. Whether they never said a shitty thing about anything, even Jar Jar Binks, which really kind of surprised me.
Yeah, because but I can see him not shitting on their own property now.
I want to shit on Jar Jar Binks every time I get a chance. Why? Like a Shiza video.
Why?
Can't stand him. Lisa thinks it's dumb.
This is not for you, it's a whole.
Now you sounded like Mario, cussing me out about how I feel about Jar Jar Binks.
Let's go!
It's me, Mario. You're a dick.
I'm gonna win.
It's the summer of Mario.
No. Don't do that one.
Lots
it's better when you curse when we do it, not the Mario.
No. Lots of behind the scenes footage in this first episode. That was one of the things that struck me about it. Is all the way through all 8 episodes, it was almost like watching the movie being made as a member of the cast.
Yeah.
Like, you got this stupid like all the little side shots where you can both see on and off set and shit, and you're like watching people mill around and do shit.
That's funny you bring that up, because it's like there was so much behind the scenes stuff that we're given through this whole 8 episodes, right? Nobody knew about Baby Yoda. Nobody knew about the child. It's. I'm blown away by the fact that they were able to keep all these secrets. Like, we don't know if in season 2 supposedly Ahsoka's part, but you didn't hear shit about season 1.
Right.
You knew absolutely nothing. I remember we did our very, very first escape pod anything, and it was just what we wanted out of what we wanted out of
and that was literally like a week before the show came out. We didn't know a fucking thing.
We knew nothing. The previews didn't give you. All you knew is you were watching some Boba Fett dude.
Right.
That's all you knew, because most people had no idea what a Mandalorian was. I mean, let's be real. Outside of us and our nerd world, most people had no idea who the fuck Boba Fett was.
Right.
So that's probably what they thought.
Mm-hmm. It's very true.
Oh, yeah.
So, episode 2, Legacy. This one gets into a little bit more about what they talked about in episode 1. The team behind The Mandalorian examines the profound impact that George Lucas's Star Wars had on the world.
Right.
And culture in general.
And movies. Yeah. Culture.
Yeah, the other movies that it might have inspired or had an effect on.
Or the inspiration he took from other movies and how it affected
like
them.
the Kurosawa films and stuff like that.
And all the different westerns and whatnot.
Yep. So the actors and directors and producers all share kind of a little bit of why Star Wars was so important to them and part of their journey to being the directors that would ultimately make
The
Mandalorian.
It was funny as they all had fairly the same. They had the same.
Yeah, this
I don't know.
Genesis.
Yeah, they all had the same beginning.
Yep.
And that was kind of cool, and it felt like that was my beginning. I was sitting there playing with toys, and making these own stories and stuff like. I love the fact that they brought up. I don't remember who brought it up. I think it was Dave Filoni was talking about how it was like your big brother took all your toys, took all this cool Star Wars characters, and left you with all the leftover crap, and he just so happened to not take the Boba Fett character, and you painted him silver and made him your own.
Yep.
And I felt that was very much true to what this world. They pulled in so much different stuff and stuff that talked to them as kids. They're like, now I'm gonna bring that up. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those episodes that really hit my nostalgia button as a child. Like you say, you're like, shit, I did that. But it was like all of the arty things and nerdy things that I ever did were inspired by not only watching Star Wars, but playing Star Wars.
Right. Whether it be with action figures
or your friends, or whether
I'm
it's
Luke Skywalker, I'm Han Solo.
sticks in the woods, fucking having a sword fight.
Oh, yeah, dude.
And
lightsabers. Hell yeah.
Like I don't know what every generation's thing is that inspires them to have an imagination, but Star Wars was that for me.
I wonder what it is.
I don't know. I hope it's not SpongeBob.
I don't.
I like SpongeBob, but damn.
I think a lot of the new stuff now is for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
I think that inspires.
No, not at all. But you know what? There's going to be an entire generation that is going to look back at Marvel movies and be like, "That's what taught me to imagine shit."
Can you imagine what they're going to produce?
Yeah, no shit.
Wow.
Yeah, because if we look back at the stuff that they were making in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, it's kind of rudimentary compared to what Marvel's making now. What in the fuck are they going to make in 20 years?
It's going to be incredible.
When these kids get the fucking keys to the castle, what the fuck are they going to do? Yeah.
I can't wait to see their Star Wars.
Abso-fucking-lutely. What happened to my phone?
What happened to my phone? This all breaking.
Episode 3 was about the cast. We get a roundtable discussion with Favreau, Filoni, and I don't know if everyone that listens to our show knows who Favreau is, but Jon Favreau, and this show doesn't even give him nearly enough credit, is responsible for orchestrating tons of shit that you love, especially in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
He was
he started.
Yeah, he was instrumental in creating the fabric of what would be the entire MCU. Not to mention the fact playing Happy in the Iron Man movies,
Happy
and
Hogan.
then throughout.
Yeah.
Like, he is one of those little Jen says Favreau is basically life, and I couldn't agree more.
It's true.
He is part of the fabric of what holds all that together, and quite a bit of it. He's the heart of whatever thing is happening.
It felt like him and Dave Filoni were the beating hearts of what made this happen. And it's like, this is the vision that Favreau has, and Dave Filoni is like, this is how you do it. And these are the nerd things, and these are the sweaty things that we're gonna make sure you keep this, make sure you do that.
Yep.
And, oh, you didn't know this, but this.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, Favreau's the shit, and Dave Filoni, although being one of the weirdest looking and acting fellas, I also want to completely fucking sit down and drink with him until I can't drink any more drinks and he's out of story.
Yeah. He's a wonderful storyteller.
And he's super fucking interesting. He's a different cat. Like,
I think he's one of those few people who loves what he does.
Sure, but let's put it in perspective. If your sister comes home with Dave Filoni and he's sitting across the table at Thanksgiving dinner and he starts talking, you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Why are you wearing a cowboy hat? This is New Jersey.
Yeah, but if he's talking about Star Wars, I don't even care about the cowboy hat.
I get a feeling he probably wouldn't. He'd probably be super shy and seem like he's not paying attention to any, but he's
taking it all in.
Yeah, he's paying ultra attention.
He's absorbing it all.
But he'll seem like he's just out there, and you'll be like,
he's a space cadet.
Sis, why are you fucking this dude?
Yeah, he's a space cadet.
Anyway, Filoni.
I'm not fucking him. I'm just here for the money.
I would like to drink with Filoni. Anyway, along with the three main stars of the show, Pedro Pascal, who plays Din Djarin, Gina Serrano, who plays Cara Dune, and let me take my hat off just for a minute, because she makes me sweat. And Carl Weathers, Grief Karga's role. The episode talks to all three of them, and they talk about joining the project, the stuff that they went through, and then they got a lot of stories about what they've done and who they work with. And
you know, one of the things I respected about Carl Weathers is he didn't sit there and pretend he was a Star Wars fan
at all.
He was like, no, it wasn't something I was into, but I came to appreciate the storytelling aspect of it, and the hero's journey. And he kind of goes back on that, and I respected and appreciated the fact that he was like, oh, I love Star Wars, because he's a very loud, boisterous guy, and he could have done that, and I would have known the difference. The fact he was like, no, that wasn't really my scene.
But then when he gets to having absorbed it all, then he's like, no, I really love it.
Yeah, I love this, and it makes sense, and this is beautiful, and this journey is great.
Which also happened to my wife recently.
Really?
I don't know if I talked to you about that. She's been watching these Star Wars movies off and on with me.
Right.
And she just didn't fucking quite get it. You know, she was like, I'll watch it, but I don't know what the fuck's going on. So then she sat down, because now she's working an opposite shift to me. She's got all this time to fill on the nights where I'm sleeping and she doesn't have to work.
Right.
So she had burned through all of the Star Wars movies. All of them. In chronological order.
My sister-in-law did that, and she included the cartoon.
Yeah, well, she didn't do the cartoon. But she was like, I got so much more respect for this guy. And she understands who's doing what, why they're doing what, and what characters have enough depth, and which ones were like super shallow and their motivations weren't quite fleshed. She's like, why didn't they spend more time talking about that? And I'm like, I know, right?
You son of a... Right, exactly.
You know, like, why do we spend so much time talking about fucking what's your name? Never mind, I'm moving on.
Good.
I don't want to start talking about old shit when we're talking about new shit. The episode gave some time to all three of them, like I said, and they kicked around the shit that made them.
Yeah.
Just kind of like when one of our early episodes we did the movies that made it.
Yeah.
You know, it's super interesting sometimes to get that little look into what built those people that made a thing into them.
Yeah.
Episode 4, technology.
Yes.
This was a good one. Jon Favreau and his team devised a new method of filmmaking by expanding upon technology previously developed for other projects like The Jungle Book and The Lion King, which we only get when we get bought by Disney. You know what I mean? ILM doesn't get all this proprietary shit that Disney came up with, like the fucking screen wall and shit.
But a lot of that was video game shit.
Yeah, it was, but Disney fucking made it movie shit.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean? I don't like George invented shit, but rarely did George ever use somebody else's shit.
Right, but even with this, even in this stuff is still different. He even states that it's different than what they did in the line.
Yes,
That
definitely.
That stuff was set the playing field, and they came in and rearranged it, and made it better.
Yeah, well, the Lion King and the Jungle Book didn't incorporate that video game technology.
Right.
That 3D rendering of an environment that all comes from, because for Jungle Book and the Lion King they used like more classic animation techniques. As far as creating the world on the screen. What was the name of that stage that they?
The volume.
The volume.
The volume.
Yep. The round table discusses how they created an immersive shooting stage, the volume, that utilizes video walls and game engine software, like you just fucking said, because I don't know why I'm reading this, because we already said all the things.
But I can't get too much into the technology because they get wasteful.
Yeah, but I like that.
No, I liked it too, but I don't know how to sit here and say, I don't know how to vocabularize it in a way to where I'm like, they had the volume, the do-witcher, and the ting-dang-bang, and scuba skip dame, and
yeah, but I don't think anybody that watches our show wants to hear us pretend like we know what the fuck we're talking about. Technology. It's a square circle.
It's a circle square with a circle, circle, dot, dot, and then you get your cootie shot. Yeah. When the pandemic started, I made sure I gave my kids
cootie shots.
And square, and I gave that shit everywhere.
I was gonna say something and you made me laugh.
I give up. Just in case.
I give up. Episode 5, Practical.
Practical effects.
This was definitely in my like top 2 or 3. I really get a kick out of the things that we watch in a show that seem like they're real, and then find out how they made them.
Yeah.
This episode explores how the crew uses practical effects, creates a world that feels real, most importantly, feels like Star Wars, and creates characters like the Child and IG-88, and makes them so believable.
You mean IG-11?
Yeah, IG-11. That's what's on the screen.
I don't know how you did that.
I don't know. It was a magic trick. Folks, I wrote IG-11, and
wow.
I cannot read my own stuff. Anyway, it makes them believable so that you can fall in love with them the way that obviously the entire fucking world did with Baby Yoda.
I can't tell when Baby Yoda is computerized and practical.
Well, you want me to tell you one of the guaranteed ways to know? When it's walking.
So there could have been a guy in a green suit like BB-8.
I just say it.
Yeah, you're not saying shit.
They did some of the, and this episode really kind of shows us that. They did some stuff where Baby Yoda was standing and they were moving like his arms, and they had the guys with the remote controls making the pretty eyes.
Dude,
and stuff.
There's like 4 or 5 people running the Baby Yoda at one time.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Oh, I just got a notification from Disney Plus. They are listening and they are not happy. I have no idea what this says, but that's about the first notification I've gotten from Disney Plus in a month. It's The Matrix is real, folks.
It is really real.
Oh, I dropped my bit.
How about that, man?
Anyway, this is basically a 45-minute episode about why you love Baby Yoda.
Pretty much, and why everybody loves Baby Yoda.
Right. And there's a little bit of the redemption of IG-11.
There you go.
Stuff in there, but even that's one of the things about Star Wars in general that generally is missing. Everybody likes the droids, right? But nobody loves the droids. There's nothing about the droids that are endearing enough that you're like, well, C-3PO is kind of a dick. I mean, you like him. You would hate for something bad to happen to C-3PO, but he's kind of a dick, and he always feels like a robot.
Mm-hmm.
By the end of Mandalorian, IG-11 feels like a person, and when IG-11, I don't know if spoilers,
dude. If you're watching the
show
talk about behind the scenes shit, and you haven't seen it,
yes,
you're a moron.
Yes.
You deserve to know whatever you're going to say.
But when IG-11 gets out of the boat and basically sacrifices himself, you're like, don't, no, fuck.
Right. Wait, you can't die.
He had his real redemption, and Poe? No, not Poe.
What?
What was the little Ugnaughts name? Queel. The animals they were riding were Poe.
No, those were blurs.
Blurs. Yes. Who's Poe?
What? Poe Dameron? Oh my god, man.
Okay, now
you're scaring the crew.
Now I want to see an Ugnaught ride Poe Dameron around on his back like a little 7-year-old on his dad's back.
Yay!
Try resisting now, fucker. Anywho, once Queel changes his programming, and he becomes a nurse. I'll flick you in the nipple right here in front of him.
Don't do that.
Bam!
It's a good nipple.
He reprograms him to take care of the baby. Becomes a nurse droid. Then all of a sudden you start seeing him in a different light, and then you're like, oh, I fucking like him.
Yeah, don't kill him.
And then he goes to so these assholes with all their practical magic managed to make you fall in love with a little green puppet and a fucking 6'5" droid.
Metal carcass.
Just a metal fucking shell. You gotta admit that's fucking impressive.
Oh hell yeah!
All on top of making a fake, like a fictitious world that you're like, that seems like a place I could go to.
I need to live there.
Right. So anyway, I digress as I often do because
episode 5, practice.
Yep. Episode 6, process. This is not one of my favorite episodes.
Didn't really care for this one either.
It is good. It's got good shit in it. But I think it's one of those episodes that's really geared to makers. Like, if you were a maker of things, this might be one of your top. Process dives into a pre-production work of The Mandalorian, more technical exploration of the show, including stuff like storyboards.
And I was like, oh, that's cool, but it's like, I've already seen what you've gone past. And going back didn't really...
Like we almost could have started with directors and then did process.
Yeah.
But like you say, once you get through the first 5 episodes, you're like, well, we're kind of past process. Why are we starting at the thing that comes before, even higher in the fucking acting?
Yeah, yes.
So anyway, it was a strong episode. I'm not sure it was at the right time this season.
Yeah.
But it focuses on the work done on the Mandalorian before the film began, storyboards, and one of the things that it does expose that kind of butts up to the technology episode is that previs stuff, where they could essentially decide how they wanted a scene storyboarded, and then some really smart son of a bitches can run it through a computer program and 3D model it and make it happen.
Right. Right.
You know, so you can decide how you want to shoot a scene before you shoot a scene, before you waste all the money that it takes,
Time.
yeah, to shoot a scene.
Yeah.
You know, then you can go, well, that stage piece would really be better if we made it from this angle, because this is the angle I want to shoot the shot from, instead of getting there on the day of the show and being like, y'all need to fucking fix that in like 8 minutes.
Yeah, it seems like all the process and previs stuff, like, all right, we've got it figured out. This is what it's going to be, and we're not making any change.
Right, and I think it allowed for all the actors to work on their blocking and stuff.
Yeah.
Because one thing that this show has is everything is tight.
Oh. Fuck yeah.
There's never anything where you're like, well, that actor was not on his marks, and they didn't reshoot the shot because it was too expensive. You know what I mean? Like in New Hope when old boy bashes his head on the ceiling.
Oh,
yeah. They're like, fuck it, we're not shooting it again.
It's already there. Right?
It's already there. We'll just hope nobody notices. There's none of that shit in The Mandalorian.
No.
All the actors knew where they were supposed to be. They delivered the lines the way they wanted to. And from all reports of or from the set, they didn't do a lot of reshooting.
No, and it seems like when they did go to reshoot, they knew exactly what it was they needed. We're getting nothing more, nothing less. This is it.
They were looking for maybe a little bit more creative take from the actor or something, but like it was like they knew what they were building, and it really is thanks to shit like, you know, this previs system, and then the ability to use that the volume. You know, so that, you know, that they lined up a shot or whatever, they were like, nah, the background needs to be over here. The actors were good. They just moved the background around a little bit.
We gotta tweak it a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. The lighting needs to change over here. Okay, it's good. Go ahead.
Yep.
You know, because I don't know if I know we didn't mention it earlier. This entire fucking show is shot on a soundstage.
Yeah, well.
They're not outside ever.
Yes, they are.
When?
The very last episode. With all the stormtroopers and the death troopers.
Okay. Where is that at?
Outside. In the back lot.
Oh.
Train yard, I believe it was.
Okay. I didn't know that. Yeah. I just found out something, guys. We're doing it live. As we always do. Dave and Jason taught us to do it live. Gotcha. Which is weird, considering we didn't do it with them. We just do it live with them. Sounds so dirty when I say it. They are dirty, dude. Episode 7, the score. This is definitely in some of my top moments, at least in this documentary.
Oh, hell
I'm not a score guy. Like,
no, I'm not at all.
If you listen to Dave talk on the All Things Star Wars podcast, he gets fucking sweaty about scores.
Super sweaty.
He loves John Williams like he's a fucking brother, and like he drives around and listens to scores from Star Wars, and I think some other shit too.
Yeah. Whereas when I listen to Star Wars scores, it's on one.
Oh, okay.
I'll put those in the sound.
That's a step more than me. I never listen to Star Wars.
Really?
I enjoy them if they're playing, but I never sit down and listen to.
As a youngster, you never got stoned and played the Imperial March while driving down the highway?
I'm not saying I never did that. Not saying I never did that.
I did. It was a good time.
So
I felt like I was fucking Darth Vader, baby.
Episode 7 shifts its focus to Ludwig Göransson.
Yes.
Did I say that right?
I'm gonna go with yes.
Göransson? Göransson. And the fantastic score for this show. Jen says that she is a score whore, which I almost want to get a shirt made now that says score whore on it.
Is that what she said?
Yeah.
Basically what she said.
And then she has to explain to people whether or not she likes musical scores or she just really fucking likes it when people score touchdowns. Every time you score a touchdown, I'm gonna suck this dick.
Whoa! Remember that was gone. I had nothing to do with that.
I wish you the best, Jess.
I mean, me too, but I doubt that's what's happening.
She just wants to listen to music.
I've been married.
Oh, see? That's why she's my friend. She says shit like, why not both? It's a win-win for everyone. Anyway, we see his process for developing the iconic theme to the show, which, like, is completely, like, in this episode, he builds this from the ground up out of completely fucking organic shit.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, it's one of the few times that I've ever seen anything that somebody's written when they walk you through it.
Mm-hmm.
That the dude was like, so I decided to
Buy a bunch of recorders.
well, first he started with a recorder and was like, well, there's got to be something cooler than this.
I've never played this, so I'm just gonna make the main jingle.
He buys some fucking bizarre Aborigine recorder that's like 6 fucking foot long, and he starts playing this like silly woodwindy sound, and was like, you know what? I'm gonna build an entire series out of this,
and it's gonna sound phenomenal.
and he does, and it's really interesting to feel like you were purviewed to actual artist's entire process.
Yeah, he really seemed like he enjoyed all of it. Like all, and you know what? This dude made musical tracks for like just like Timberlake.
Yeah,
like that.
Like, yeah. It's not like he had no fucking chops.
No, yeah, but like it's weird to know that dude came from the world of making beats and stuff like that to like
not particularly like classical music.
I'm gonna make a score.
Yeah.
He was doing some different things with hip hop and different stuff like that.
It kind of reminded me of. Have you ever heard Junkie XL talking about making stuff for the Justice League stuff?
No.
Like the guy that did the score for a lot of that. I want to say he did the Justice League and Batman v Superman. And maybe even Wonder Woman.
Okay.
Wonder League.
This is fucking not right.
Anyway, some of those anyway. My memory generally doesn't serve me well.
Sure.
Like the stuff that he was making is very much like the kind of stuff that our man Ludwig was fucking doing. And then he came over and did some very, like, creative John Williams-y kind of shit out of just, or, like, he might as well picked up some sand and went, music!
The whole, it's gotta feel like Star Wars comment, or it's gotta sound like Star Wars. Like, this doesn't sound like Star Wars, but now it sounds like Star Wars.
Now it sounds like Star Wars.
This is what, like, now I have two choices, John Williams and Ludwig Gordon.
Yeah, he basically was like, this is now what Star Wars sounds like. And you're like, okay.
And it was cool when he was showing the prison, when they're on the prison ship. Episode 6.
One of my favorite episodes, by the way.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
That's a hot take.
I don't know how hot of a take that is. I need to pull a bunch of people together and see if it is. But regardless, if you listen to some of the chords, and it's very electric guitar and very techy and very not the Mandalorian, but it's still the Mandalorian.
Right.
I enjoyed the shit out of that.
Going back to what I just said. After watching The Mandalorian now like 3 times. And taking each episode as their own individual unit and not part of this series.
Right.
As far as like a bottled episode and the stuff that they did with it and how interesting it was, that episode did all kinds of cool little shit and little nods and stuff like taking me in.
Oh yeah.
And all the way through it, and like the more times I watch it, the more I go, this is kind of ingenious. This is a good fucking episode.
Rick, hand me you that one.
Yep. The only thing I didn't care for about it was the Twi'lek at the end, the guy Twi'lek, the one that was the prisoner at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that actor kind of sucks. I think maybe
I didn't really care for him either.
Yeah, and like just the way he says stuff, like at the end when the X-Wings are coming in, the X-Wing. I'm like, I don't know, bro. Yeah. But the entire rest of the episode, I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah.
Especially when the fucking X-Wings come in and blow up the space station.
It was such a different episode compared to the rest of it.
And the stuff with Din Djarin fighting all the droids in the
That
hallway.
was awesome.
That like it. Way digressing to the beginning of the show, and I mentioned this to you earlier. There is a scene in that TV show, The Old Guard,
Right.
that is so reminiscent to me of the scene in Daredevil, in the first season of Daredevil, when he fucks up all them dudes in the hallway. Is that first episode?
I
It's
think
the
it's
first
the
or the second.
Yeah, it's the first or the second episode.
When he goes to save that girl.
Yep. That's the
And,
first
and he
second episode.
fights his way down that whole hallway. There's a scene in The Old Guard where they're in a confined space, a long confined space, and these two people are sorting out some fucking issues, and it is directed and acted in that style, and the same thing we got. Go ahead, John. I knew you wanted to. We got the same thing in that episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Where there's that scene where he's working his way through them droids down the hallway, and it's so expertly choreographed. And really, about this particular episode we're talking about, the score for that scene is so fucking engaging.
Oh, dude, it is. It's so different.
As he's sitting there sorting all them fucking droids, you get to the end of it, and you're kind of tired. You're like,
fun fact, did you catch on the fact where those were supposed to initially be floating droids? They
Yes.
were supposed to have legs.
Yes, they added.
Yeah, they added that after the fact.
And
because the way his fighting was, it was so.
And it's fucking seamless. But man, I love that scene. I love that whole episode, but I really love that scene.
Oh, a lot of people didn't care for that episode that I've gauged. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And it was so different.
I've had a couple of people go, "Well, I really like that episode," and I say, "You need to go back and watch it."
It was almost heist.
It's a heist. It's a tower escape kind of a thing. But I've told everybody that said that, I'm like, you need to go back and watch that episode again and watch it with fresh eyes, because it's fucking flawless. And back to Ludwig's music, like the score in that particular episode keeps you fucking charged all the way through. It's very driving. It builds through the whole episode, and then at the end, when the X-wings come in and blow up the fucking space station, there's a resolve, and you get this weird sense of calm afterwards, and you realize that you've been essentially being emotionally manipulated for fucking 40 minutes.
Well, what's cool is because he goes to using all these like wind instruments and stuff, and then he gets in this real techy, charged ass sound.
Exactly.
And it really pulls you. It's like, oh shit, what's happening?
That is
a completely different sound.
That's a good point. He essentially makes Terminator music.
Mm-hmm.
It's living flesh on the outside, and it is liquid fucking metal inside. And so you, like you say, you're getting that real organic vibe from it, and then all of a sudden you realize you're in the middle of some fucking death metal, and it's really cool.
It's really good. There's a lot of nerdy music stuff to talk about this episode that I'm not.
Yeah, I'm not qualified to even get into.
But if you love the score and you love the music of the Mandalorian, you'll really, really love this episode.
Right. Absolutely. Anyway, in this episode, we see how he makes this, new iconic theme, like we've said, and he walks you through writing the music, playing the weird instruments that you didn't even know were a thing.
Yeah.
There was so many instruments that he used to make this I've never seen. And
the one thing where he's plugging shit into the wall and turning knobs, I'm like, that can't be real.
Right.
Like, that's not a real thing.
It is.
But it is.
Yeah. It looked like being in the fucking Jupiter module or some shit.
Yeah, like you're getting ready to go to space.
But I haven't shared this a lot on the show, but I have like a pretty good musical background. Like I was a singer all the way through school, and I suck at playing instruments, but I always played guitar and shit like that. And so my exposure to like orchestra music and shit like that is pretty high.
Right.
There's a bunch of shit that he plays making this stuff I've never even fucking seen.
Yeah.
I've never even seen some instruments that look like it.
Well, he talks about having that 70s guitar that even with today's modern computers, can't do stuff.
Right.
I found that to be very interesting.
Yep. He uses some shit from the 70s that is the only thing that can make a sound that he was looking to sample.
Yep.
And this guy's a kid.
Yeah.
Compared to us, he's a fucking child.
Yeah, he's way younger.
He's got to be like 23, 25 top.
Hey, that's being generous.
And he's using shit that I'm not familiar with because it predates me.
I think, if I stand corrected, he also did Black Panther soundtrack. That score. I'm more than positive he did.
It seems very reasonable.
Because he was. They talk about him being roommates with Ryan Coogler,
yeah,
the director of Black Panther.
Yeah, and you know, if you haven't seen Black Panther, by all means, fucking do it.
See it, Jesus.
But that has an incredible score too. In fact, it has one of the more upbeat, hip hoppy kind of a feel scores out of all the MCU, and it's fucking driving.
It's good. That's good.
I think we've blown this episode enough.
Yeah.
But here comes the coup d'etat.
Connections!
Episode 8, Connections. This episode is dedicated to all the Easter eggs, the fan service, the references, cameos that kind of bind the Star Wars galaxy as creators and fans together. Because we all are in love with different shit, but we all come together. Jen's like, keep blowing it.
It's so good.
It's like when it's too much and you've already come and she's still fucking grinding.
I'm not done, damn it!
Oh, it hurts, but keep going.
I'm sorry. Take me there. Take me there.
To the magic of the moment. On the glory night.
Ooh, yeah.
Anyway, this episode's kind of all about how we went from not having any action figures to acting out our dreams in our fucking backyard. Like we kind of alluded to before, George kind of taught at least our generation how to dream our dreams and, you know, get into shit that we didn't even know existed and explore. Like, I probably would have never been a science fiction fan if it hadn't been for Star Wars. Like, that was my gateway drug. It was, I mean, like, everything that I essentially fell in love with came on the backs of stuff like Star Wars. And plain and simple, I'm not sure I would have fell in love with Star Wars if it wasn't for Stormtroopers.
No, that's 100%.
Something about
Stormtroopers and lightsabers. Man.
Yeah, something about the Stormtrooper captured the whole thing, and I don't know how much of it was intentional. Like, I think that they came up with the idea based on a couple of things, and that's what it came out looking like. But it captures a whole level of imagination that, like, say, may or may not have been. Like, I'm sure George wasn't like, you know what, I have to write a story around these dudes.
Right.
But those dudes are kind of what makes it.
Which goes into the connection. Everybody has their little things, and then we have the little things that we notice.
Yep.
Like, one of the big things they talk about in this connection is the Wilrow Hood character with the ice cream maker.
Uh-huh.
And how that ice cream maker was such a small background thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, we're going to take that, and now we're going to create this. And they made it basically like, what they call it? Atonement? Atoner? Camtano. And they turned that into this, basically a safe.
A safe, yep.
Yeah. And I was like, never in a million years would I thought that's what that thing would have been.
Right.
You know? And it was so cool that they pulled that little string from Empire Strikes Back and made it this big old elaborate thing, but it's not a big old elaborate thing. It's just I know what that is. Oh my God, that's what that is.
That's an ice cream maker. One of the directors is talking about the fact that his family had one of those ice cream makers, and when it took a shit, Mom threw it out. Star Wars came out shortly after that, and he's like, Mom, where the fuck's the ice cream maker? And she's like, I threw it out. It was garbage. He's like, fuck.
I need that.
Need to have that. there is the stuff like with the rifle.
Oh yeah, how they pulled that from the holiday special.
Yep, I did not know that came from the holiday special.
Really?
And I think that's because the last time I watched the holiday special, I was small enough to kick in the face without lifting my foot past my knee. Like, it was a minute. And, like, I remember I might have been, like, 7 or 8 when I watched that, and I remember thinking it was bad.
Oh, yeah, dude. I can't tell you how or why I remember stuff from the holiday special.
Right. Well, like I said, I haven't seen it in so long. I remember some stuff with Carrie Fisher talking to the Wookiees.
Yeah.
In the tree.
I vaguely remember.
That's about it.
Yeah. One of the things that.
Like, I don't remember the whip whip stir thing.
Oh, I don't remember that either.
The only reason I know about that is because Bronco brings it up all the time.
Yeah.
All things Star Wars podcast. Speaking of which, if you're not checking out the All Things Star Wars podcast, you should fucking look into that. Dave and Jason have been making a magical fucking show for 3 years now.
156 episodes?
I came in at about episode 50. You came in at the very beginning.
Yep, I found them on accident at the very beginning.
And episode 100, we drove to New Jersey to be part of their show.
Yep.
Like, it was that prolific for both of us. And then inspired us to start making this art for you guys.
Yep.
So, if you're not going back and checking out the All Things Star Wars Dumpster Fire,
whatever you want to
well,
call
the last couple episodes have been dumpstery.
Oh my
because of the technical issues. Like last week, we blew a mic. So if you're listening to this and you listened to last week and you wonder why the top of the audio sounds like we're crinkling a bag for fucking 45 minutes,
the whole time,
we blew a mic.
Yeah.
So now we're fucking going back to some old mics and a little bit of fucking editing magic, and they sound cleaner than the other one.
Oh, you might have to stick with these for a little bit.
Yeah, for real. Anyway, we get the dark saber.
That was cool at the last episode.
Yep.
That, like, when I saw it, because what did we say? Or what did I say? When we were talking about what we wanted, what little things, one of the little things I said I would love to see a lightsaber, because I'm a stormtrooper and I'm a lightsaber guy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see a lightsaber, even if it was for the smallest of moments of he picks one up, turns it on, I don't need this, turns it off, throws it away.
Right.
I would have been satisfied with that, and instead, we get the mythical dark saber.
Right. The absolute, like, holy shit, blow your wad on the floor dark saber. If you haven't watched Rebels,
if you haven't watched Clone Wars, it's in both of them.
It is in Clone Wars, isn't it?
Yeah, that's where it came from initially.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. It's a fucking Star Wars thing.
Yeah, and it's dope. It's one of the coolest lightsabers you've ever seen.
Yep. And we see Moff Gideon hold it, and Moff Gideon. What's the guy's name? No, the guy Carlos Espanita, who is from Breaking Bad and some other shit. Fantastic fucking actor. Like
menacing.
Yeah, acts his fucking ass off in the last 2 episodes.
He's frightening.
He's frightening.
He's a frightening dude.
He's frightening. And then he pulls this motherfucker out. You're like,
yep.
Oh damn, this dude is for real.
He is in the thick of it. He knows what's up. The 501st Stormtroopers.
Yeah.
That. Could you imagine being one of those guys getting the call?
Right.
And you don't know what you're just like, hey, grab your Stormtrooper gear. We need you for this thing.
So if you guys aren't abreast with this, all the Stormtroopers that you
Not all of them.
Are you sure?
Yep. They already have 30.
Oh, okay.
They already have 30 because they maxed out all the costumes.
Oh,
they needed more.
Lunar Girl's watching Rebels right now. Fucking
nice.
Right on. Yeah, so they had a whole bunch of, when they started needing stormtroopers around, they bring in the 501st, which if you don't know what the 501st is, it's a group of essentially cosplayers that
bad guys doing good.
Bad guys doing good. They make their own movie replica costumes. I don't know how much make their own they're really doing, but
Well, they
make their own.
They got to form fit them to themselves and, and trim. And
they have to be movie quality. I know that. And then
screen accurate.
And then they go and do things like visit children's hospitals and do different charity work. And when my buddy Brian passed away,
they had the
Mandalorian merch, which are essentially an offshoot of these guys.
Right.
And not only did they send their condolences, they sent some of their fucking Mandalorians to my friend's funeral.
That was awesome.
Fuck, I'm getting all fucking smoky about it.
That was awesome.
You know, it's these guys are fucking doing the Lord's work. Yeah. Dressed up like Stormtroopers.
Dressed up like the bad guys.
And then these guys get to go and fucking be in Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're not just fucking guys that like Star Wars. They are now Star Wars characters.
They get to say they're
holy fuck.
That's awesome. That's so dope.
If I keep talking about it, I'm gonna get fucking upset.
Then go to the next thing, my friend.
Yeah, we get some familiar droids from back on Tatooine. Like in the bar, there's the one droid that
DV9, whatever.
We originally encountered working for Jabba the Hutt on the barge.
Right.
It's essentially the punishment droid.
Yeah, now he's working within the cantina.
Right, but most importantly, he's voiced by Mark Hamill.
Which didn't pick up on that.
No.
Doesn't sound like Mark Hamill.
Doesn't sound like Mark Hamill at all. But when you find it out, you're just like,
yeah! Oh, you!
You know, this is the kind of shit that's the connectivity that makes all nerds fucking emotional all the time.
Yeah.
About what we're into.
I thought it was pretty cool as they used 3 of the directors for the X-Wing pilots in the episode.
Right.
Episode 6.
Yep.
If I believe your favorite episode where they're doing the escape, the heist thing that we were talking about. They use Deborah Chow, which, fun fact, she is going to be the director of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yes.
They use Rick Famuyiwa, and they use Dave Filoni, and they all got their own little guest spot coming in there, blowing up the gunship and blowing up the little space station.
Yes. And I don't know if you know this, but you probably do because you know everything.
Kind of.
One of the X-Wings in that scene is the X-Wing.
Well, it's the X-Wing they all
from A New Hope, which is now also the X-Wing that's in Galaxy's Edge.
I didn't know that part of it. I knew it was from Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge in California specifically. Is it?
They film in California.
Okay.
Because remember, Dave Filoni makes the comment. He's like, "I can't believe we didn't have an X-Wing cockpit in California.
Oh,
we had to get the one that they were sending for later."
Yeah, that's right. But like, so this is a fully functional, full-size prop that's now been in 2 Star Wars properties and now sits in a place that you can go stand next to. Holy shit.
Go take a picture.
Nerdgasm. Goo! Anyway, that's kind of the Mandalorian, making of the Mando.
We didn't do it justice. Watch it. If you haven't seen it and you're a Star Wars fan, you're a fan of the Mandalorian,
we'd have to do 2 of these shows to even get sweaty about half the episodes.
Yeah, and we don't want to ruin it for you. I mean, if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about, and you're definitely enjoying that part. But if you haven't seen it and you're like, I don't know, go watch it.
This episode is actually almost as long as one of our early season episodes. We don't normally go this long.
No, we haven't gone this long in a little bit.
So in order to really get into what happened in this series.
Oh, Luna Girl, she hasn't seen it.
You haven't?
You need to watch it, Luna Girl. Disney Plus. I hope we didn't ruin anything for you.
No,
because
you've seen The
We didn't
Mandalorian.
do it justice. Yeah, you've seen The Mandalorian, but you really need to watch it, Luna Girl.
But I think when you go back and you watch it, you're going to be like, oh, this is what the guys were talking about. I see why they were so excited about this thing.
Yeah, I've watched some of these episodes probably 3 or 4 times now, and it's like, well, why didn't you talk better about it? Because I'm dumb.
Well, yeah.
That happens.
You know, I've noticed the more I love something, the less eloquently I can talk about it. because
it's all up in here. It's all in the brain
Yeah.
space that can't make it out to here.
I'm super focused on it when it's happening, and my brain doesn't build the structure to spit it back out. I just, like, I get engrossed in shit. So the more I love something, the more I'm like,
Well, that's the way I felt about it today. Is like, I felt I had so much more to talk about, and then we're talking about it, I'm like, yeah, and it's just,
right.
But I can't get it out.
Now, when we went to New Jersey on episode 100, what was it that we were talking about? Because it seemed like I watched something a bunch of times. Was it the Rise of Skywalker?
Nope. Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. So that's how long ago it was?
Yeah, it was before we went to Celebration.
Yeah, I had watched that a bunch of times leading up to that because I did a bunch of detail work on it. But I was surprised.
She mentioned his nipple.
Yes.
I just never noticed that.
Brady's talking about a picture that I have on my phone that's from a Star Wars exhibit that me and my wife went to, and she's standing in front of a big mural on the wall, and there's a picture of like a 7-foot toy Han Solo, and she's fucking tweaking his nipple.
Tweaking the nip.
That's the word the world that I live in my private life when you guys aren't around.
That's fair.
Anywho, we went back to talk to Dave and Jason about this episode, and I had to watch it 4 or 5 times before I started to really pull the threads of stuff.
Yeah. Because
a lot of people fucking don't like that movie.
I like it.
It's not my favorite one.
It's not my
but
favorite one, but I love
movie.
it. Yeah.
So I had to watch it 4 or 5 times just to break the reverence I had for the movie, so that I could look at it objectively.
Yeah.
So in order for me to talk to you guys, like when I was talking about the Old Guard earlier, I'm just like, it's fucking good, guys. It's good. just watch it.
You guys need to watch the show.
And I completely forgot about wanting to hit on the hallway scene, kind of terrible. Like, there's so much stuff in this that is not taken from something else, but does a thing as well as another thing does it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the guys, well, actually it was a woman that directed it, but it was a guy that wrote it. In fact, Kevin Smith was talking about it the other day to the individual that wrote this, and I'm not doing him any justice because I can't remember what the fuck his name is. But most of his work is about strong female leads. Mm-hmm. Even like the comic books and shit he was writing in the early 90s before it became a thing. So here he is, now he's in his productive life where he's making things that he wrote and invented. And he picks women to do it. Like, it's not a thing that he thinks is a good social justice, fucking whatever. That's the world he believes in. Right. Like, he picks strong fucking women to write shit about strong women, and you're like, I see you.
That just makes sense.
Yeah, I'm like, I see you.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
It's just cool.
It's just that's how I want my movies. I want my movies made by Star Wars fans.
Yes.
Whether you think Rian Johnson's movie was good or bad, it was a Star Wars fan.
Black, white, woman, male, LGBTQ, old, young. Yeah. Make me a movie by a person who appreciates it on the level I appreciate it in, or hopefully even better, because I am often a shallow fan of things, and I think I'm deep, and then I meet people that I'm like, holy fuck, you know so much more.
Right.
Like, I'm always blown away meeting new people and realizing that something that I thought I had a good, strong knowledge of, I don't know shit.
Yep, that's the best.
Like, it's amazing to me. Like, we were talking today when we were on our walk on break. I was like, I am good at tons of stuff. I am not great at anything.
Yeah. But
when you meet somebody that's an expert at their craft, you're just blown away.
Yep.
They talk about things in a way that you're like, you identify the fact that you can't possibly understand the depth of what they understand about a thing. Right. Like, I used to fancy myself as a really good Texas Hold'em player. Like, I understood the game, I understood the odds, I knew what cards were likely to come based on what I saw on the table and how you were acting, how that guy was acting. You know, like, I was pretty good at it.
Right.
And I did play cards with about 2 or 3 other guys that I thought were better than me. But I've played cards with people that understand things about the game
that you have no earthly idea
that I just can't fathom. You know, and those are just people that I played with, like, at the local casino.
Yeah.
So, if those guys are that good, what happens when you sit down at the table with the guys that are on the TV show about the fucking game?
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know shit about this fucking game. There's 52 cards, and that's what I know.
That's all I know.
So,
and that's the blue deck.
Yeah.
Oh, shit's a red deck.
Right. So, I feel the same way when we're talking about the guy that wrote the score for this movie, Ludwig Gorgonzola song. That guy understands things about music that I won't. It's information I won't acquire by the time I die. Like, it's not that I don't know it now. And mind you, he's like 15 years younger than me. I won't be able to attain that level of knowledge about that subject in my lifetime.
Ever. Right.
And there's the same thing about...
And he's still got more to learn.
Right.
He's going to amass so much more.
Same thing about movie making or video games or what the fuck ever. Yep. Like, I know a lot about a little, but really all I know is a little about a lot.
Yeah, that's the truth, brother. I'm right there with you.
Anyway, I want to go ahead and reinforce to you guys, this is the last week that you can share the podcast with other people, screenshot it to us or tag us in it so that we can get you entered into the escape crate.
Yes, the escape
drawing.
Crate. The escape crate drawing.
Because we're going to have all of that prepared for the top of next week's show.
And then the next drawing won't be for another
3 months.
3 months, so get on board of
this
one.
This is July, what's that, September? October. So the next one will be in October. Yeah. And then January.
Yeah, January.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll work.
So October. So if,
like the first.
Right. If you want to get in on this one and you haven't already, send us those screenshots. Let us know that you're sharing this with your friends and family and whatnot. And all that is just going to make the show that much better because we're going to have that much more input. Get with us on the Escape Pod Facebook page. You know, it's a great place to share funny memes or good stories or just interact with people that, if they're not your friends, they will be soon. Like, our fans are every bit as entertaining as us, if not fucking more entertaining.
Some of the stuff they post on the Escape Pod Facebook is fantastic.
And if you can go beyond that and get involved in the All Things Star Wars Sidebar Cantina, which is where we started from.
Yep.
And there's a great group of human beings there that 100%. Have become our friends.
Yep. And some of those people have followed us over to the Escape Pod.
So if you like what we're doing, check out what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know,
the mothership is where it's at.
There's the layman's terms and there's the Views and Abuse podcast, Big Swede stuff. Like we're really part of essentially our own little All Things Star Wars universe.
Yep.
And then that's even nested under Podbelly.
Yep.
So like the world is full of podcasts and we'll go out and be a part of them. But definitely get with us on sharing us on social media. Join us on the Facebook page.
Hell yeah.
Get involved in that if you're not already. We really get a kick out of being a part of that world with you guys.
Oh yeah, and then join us in the chat during live shows. That's the best, man. We only had a couple people, and they kept us going this whole time, and we really appreciate you guys being in the chat. But join us in the chat. Bring things up to talk about. Bring something. If we miss them, call us out. We don't at all pretend to know that we know everything about these movies, these shows, whatever it is. call us out. Say, hey, you missed this.
Yep. Neither
Okay,
of us
cool.
are the kind of guys that are going to be offended if you go, hey, man, you didn't think this through. Or this could have been this, or maybe you should have thought about it this way. And a lot of times, if we agree with you, we're probably going to bring it back up and be like, you know what? Lunar Girl said that you're a fucking retard, and I agree.
Yeah. Wait, what?
No, not you.
Oh,
the other
okay.
guy.
I was like,
That guy.
I'm not a retard.
Why would you be offended? I was clearly talking about him.
Clearly talking about him.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow. Anyway, you know,
best friends are being made within
best
the
friends
chat.
are being made in the chat.
That's fantastic.
Did we just become best friends?
Yep.
I'm gonna put my drums or balls on your drum set. Yeah.
No.
Clearly I am.
No.
Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Anywho,
yeah, let's get to it.
Everybody make sure that you click on the little thumbs up and give us a like.
Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
We're gonna go ahead and check the 5-star reviews,
I don't
see if
think
there's
we
anything.
have
I don't
one,
think there's anything. But give us your 5-star, no star, any stars, big sweet stars,
42 stars,
chicken little stars, 42 stars, or actually, you know what? Just send me chicken. I'm hungry.
Yeah, we're a little parched.
It really helps people find us. Helps us kind of share the show with the rest of the world, and you guys are enough, but we'd like to giggle with more folks.
And then let you giggle with more folks.
Right. Subscribe and download us on your favorite podcasting app under the ATSW, the Escape Pod.
Check out all of our pod family. Check out the All Things Star Wars podcast, Use and Abuse, layman's terms, Tactical Suite, Big Sweet's Excellent Adventure, and the Podbelly Network shows like Sofa Kings and Geekly Distraction.
Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys next time. May the Force be with you.
And go blue.
Go blue. The summer is
That's
going
why I gotta
blue.
pee so bad. I have no more beer.
No more.
I gotta pee.
Wow. That got real heavy metal.
Well.